inline-four mid-capacity full-fat sport bikes. They have been the ultimate motorcycling dream for most of us. But just like most dreams, they have also been out of reach for all of us. Well, until recently, in 2015, when Honda introduced the CBR650F in India. And while it's not exactly a super sport, it's plenty fast. And while it's not exactly cheap, it's not exorbitantly priced either. Well, for 2018, Honda has got the new CBR650F in India, and while it does look quite similar to the outgoing bike, there are some critical differences. So, here are 5 things you need to know about the new Honda CBR650F. 1. There are some minor visual changes. Gone is the HRC inspired paint scheme, instead replaced by 2 new colors, this stealth matte black and a red, which we think looks better of the 2 for sure. And we also love the absolutely minimal stickering on the bike, which gives it a more mature look. Around the back, the all-LED taillight gets a clear lens, the swing arm is now coated in black, and the engine casing gets this sort of golden bronze finish. Now that does remind you of some recent Honda motorcycle, right? Which one? Do let us know in the comments below. And at the front, the headlamp is now narrower, which gives it a little more aggressive stance, but we'll get to the headlamp in just a bit. But we do have a couple of grouses here. While the build quality overall is absolutely top notch, the positions of the switchgear is a little bit odd. Now the buttons for the indicators and the horn have switch places, and that does take a bit of getting used to. And that instrument cluster, it looked old in 2015 and now in 2018 it looks absolutely ancient. 2. It gets an all-LED headlight. Now of late, Honda has been on an absolute spree of putting LED headlights on all their products, clearly not just in India but internationally as well. And this LED headlight on the CBR, it provides decent illumination, and the reach at high beam is actually quite good. But the spread at low beam is not very impressive. Now we're not comparing, but the spread of the LED headlight of the Activa 5G is actually much better. 3. The engine has changed, but not exactly. The engine now gets a larger airbox and a freer flowing exhaust. That, along with some ECU tweaks, means the engine makes more power, well, at least internationally, than before, which is 90 PS. However, in India, the engine has been detuned a little to make 86 PS, which is exactly the same as before. I wonder why. Now the gearbox has seen some revisions here as well. Apart from 1st and 6th, all the gears are now shorter, which means in-gear acceleration has now been improved. To put its acceleration figure into perspective, it's quicker than something like the Ducati Monster 797. But other bikes which are somewhat in its price category, such as the Kawasaki Z900 and the Suzuki GSX-S750, are a bit quicker. But of course, they are more powerful as well. But because 6th gear stays as it was, it cruises just as effortlessly as before, and that is definitely good news for all those who want to take this bike touring. But apart from the performance gains, what this engine is known for is its fantastic tractability. Because in the city, from 30 kph, you can pull easily even in 6th gear. And it's because of this tractability that it manages to deliver such a high efficiency figure in the urban environment. That said, highway efficiency is quite decent too. And on the highway, the motor's refinement allows you to cruise at triple-digit speeds all day long without breaking a sweat. So the changes to the exhaust are something that everybody will definitely appreciate. Now the end can has gone from a 3-chamber layout to a 2-chamber layout. Now what that means is it's now a lot more audible than it was before. So it's not the loudest inline-four, but it's loud enough for you to show off the inline-four howl whenever you want. 4. There are a few mechanical tweaks here as well. Now Now while this CBR650F retains the conventional right side up forks from the previous bike, these are now actually Showa dual bending valve units, and they have made the ride very supple. Now it doesn't affect handling directly, but the bike now copes with mid-corner bumps in a much better manner. But more than that, it's the ride quality, which is now fantastic on bad roads. But that's at slow to medium speeds. At high speeds over sharp bumps, the front end does tend to bottom out, and that is a bit of a concern. At the back, it retains its adjustable monoshock and ride has always felt good, but again at high speeds on sharp bumps, you do get a bounce from the back. But what has helped handling are the handlebars, which have now been dropped just a little bit to give you a more aggressive posture on the motorcycle. Now don't get me wrong, this is not a nimble bike by any means. It's pretty heavy at 216 kilos. But this aggressive posture makes riding in corners just a little bit more fun. But it's not so aggressive that it's going to hurt your neck, your back or your wrists when you're traveling long distances. So if you have any plans of taking this CBR touring, you can do it just fine. What also makes this CBR such a great sport touring motorcycle is its comfortable seat for both rider and pillion, and also some mounting hooks at the back for some luggage. Braking was never an issue on the 650, but now it gets revised 2-piston Nissan calipers at the front, so braking feel is now better than before. But braking distances, well, they're not very short, but that's okay considering that it's a very heavy motorcycle. But thankfully it still retains ABS, and that I think is a must-have on any modern bike. But what holds this CBR back from being a great handler are those Dunlop Sportmax tires at both ends, which are just the worst. They take forever to heat up, and in this climate where it's cold, it's raining and it's overcast, they run cold all the time and the bike just keeps moving around through the corner. I'm sure they'll offer great tire life, but for anyone buying this CBR650F, our wholehearted recommendation is the first thing you do is swap this out for better rubber from either Metzeler or Pirelli. And 5, it's priced exactly the same as before. At rupees 7.3 lakhs ex-showroom, it costs exactly what it did back when it was launched in 2015. But is it worth it? Well, you can actually get more powerful rivals such as the Suzuki GSX S750 and the Kawasaki Z900 for a little bit more money. So in that sense, it feels a little bit expensive. But it's the only genuine full-fed inline-four sport bike that you can get in India for under 10 lakh rupees on road. Plus, it's a great everyday big bike. It handles sport touring quite well. It's decent fun in the twisties, and it can even do an occasional track day. But what's most impressive about this CBR is that it's just ridiculously cheap to maintain. So in that sense, yes, it's a bit pricey, but it's money well spent.